A galaxy-wide SOS went out, and humanity's arrival erased the skies. The twin suns of Zarian cast their dying light across the crystal spires of the last Catharan city. High Counselor Meraxis stood at the observation deck of the central spire, her translucent wings folded against her back as she watched the evacuation ships flee into the void. Each departing vessel carried thousands of her people, the last survivors of a civilization that had flourished for 12 millennia. Below, the once magnificent cities lay in ruins. The Devourers had consumed everything organic they could find, leaving behind only lifeless husks of metal and stone. The biomechanical plague had started in the outer colonies 6 months ago, and now it had reached their homeworld. "High Counselor," whispered Kelthara, her youngest aide. The young Catharan's bioluminescent skin flickered weakly, a sign of the plague's early stages. "The final count has come in. We've lost the eastern continents completely. No survivors." Meraxis closed her multifaceted eyes. When she opened them, tears like liquid starlight rolled down her chitinous cheeks. "How many remain?" "Perhaps 50,000 across all worlds. Maybe less. 50,000. From a population of 12 billion, spread across 40 star systems. The Devourers, machines designed by an unknown enemy, had consumed everything. They converted organic matter into more of themselves, growing stronger with each world they destroyed. "The quantum beacon is ready, High Counselor," came another voice. This belonged to Nexus Prime, the chief of their technological caste. His mechanical implants, which had once enhanced his biological form, now made him a target for the Devourers. "We can send the distress signal across the galaxy." Meraxis turned from the window. The High Council chamber had once held 300 members from across their empire. Now only 15 remained, and most were too sick to speak. The great holographic display that had once shown the glory of their civilization now displayed only red, world after world, consumed by the mechanical plague. "Show me the message," she said. Nexus Prime activated the quantum transmitter. Words appeared in the air before them, written in the universal trade language that most sapient species used for communication. "We are the Kitharans of the Zarian cluster. We are dying. An unknown enemy has unleashed mechanical devourers upon our worlds. They consume all organic life and convert it into more of themselves. We have tried everything we know, but we cannot stop them. Please, if anyone receives this message, help us. We do not wish to be forgotten. We do not wish our children to die. Please help us." The words hung in the air like a final prayer. Meraxis read them again, then nodded slowly. "Send it. Broadcast it to every star, every world, every ship that might hear us." "High Counselor," Kelthara said softly, "what if no one comes? What if they fear the Devourers will spread to them?" Meraxis looked at her dying aide, then at the handful of counselors who remained. "Then we will face the end with the dignity our ancestors taught us. But perhaps someone out there will have the strength to fight what we cannot." Nexus Prime activated the transmitter. The massive quantum array beneath the capital city hummed to life, using the last of their power reserves. The message shot out across space, faster than light, reaching toward distant stars and unknown worlds. Far away, in a sector of space that the Galactic Registry marked as unexplored, the message found its way to a human exploration vessel. Captain Maria Santos was reviewing supply reports when the communications alert sounded. She sat in the command chair of the Tis Indomitable, a heavy cruiser that had seen action in the Proxima rebellions. The ship was old, but she was reliable, and Santos trusted her more than any of the newer vessels. "What is it, Chen?" she called to her communications officer. Lieutenant David Chen looked up from his console, confusion clear on his face. "Captain, we're receiving a distress signal, but it's not from any human colony. The language is unknown, but the translator is working on it." Santos set down her coffee. "Put it through." The ship's computer worked for a moment, then an alien voice filled the bridge. The universal translator made the words clear, but the desperation in the voice needed no translation. "We are the Catharans of the Zarian cluster. We are dying. An unknown enemy has unleashed mechanical devourers upon our worlds. They consume all organic life and convert it into more of themselves. We have tried everything we know, but we cannot stop them. Please, if anyone receives this message, help us. We do not wish to be forgotten. We do not wish our children to die. Please help us. The bridge fell silent. Santos looked around at her crew. Dr. Sarah Kim, her chief medical officer, was staring at her screen with wide eyes. Commander James Rodriguez, her tactical officer, had stopped reviewing weapon systems. Even the normally busy bridge seemed to hold its breath. "Sir," Chen said quietly, "the signal is coming from the Zarian cluster. That's 8 days away at maximum jump." Santos stood up. She was a woman of average height with dark hair and eyes that had seen too much war. At 52, she had commanded ships in 3 different conflicts, but something about this message struck her deeply. Maybe it was the simple honesty of it. Maybe it was the fact that these aliens were asking for help instead of demanding it. "What do we know about the Zarian cluster?" she asked. Dr. Kim checked her database. "Not much, Captain. It's marked as unexplored by human ships, but there are some old scan reports from long-range probes. Multiple inhabited worlds, signs of an advanced civilization. The reports are 30 years old, though. Any warnings? Any reason to stay away?" "No, Captain, just, it's far from human space. If we go there, we'll be completely on our own." Santos walked to the main view screen and stared out at the stars. Earth Command had given her orders to patrol the frontier, looking for new resources and potential colony sites. They had not told her to answer alien distress calls. In fact, they probably wouldn't want her to. But Maria Santos had joined the Terran Exploration Service to help people, not to ignore them when they were dying. "Rodriguez," she called to her tactical officer. "What's our weapons status?" "All systems green, Captain. We're fully loaded and ready for whatever comes." Santos nodded. "Chen, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we received an alien distress call and we're responding. Tell them we'll report back when we can." "Captain," Dr. Kim said carefully, "we don't know anything about these aliens. We don't know what kind of enemy they're fighting. We don't even know if the message is real." Santos looked at her. "Sarah, if you were dying and sent out a call for help, would you want someone to answer?" Kim nodded slowly. "Yes, Captain." "Then that's what we're going to do." Santos sat back down in her command chair. "All hands, prepare for jump. We're going to Zarian." As the Indomitable powered up its jump drive, none of the crew knew they were about to face an enemy that could consume entire worlds. They only knew that somewhere in the darkness, people were crying for help. And humans, Maria Santos had learned long ago, didn't abandon people in need. The Indomitable dropped out of hyperspace with a shudder that ran through the entire ship. Captain Santos gripped her command chair as the stars stopped spinning and became steady points of light. But what she saw on the main view screen made her blood run cold. The Zarian system was a graveyard. Dozens of ships drifted in the void, some clearly alien designs, others unrecognizable masses of twisted metal and organic components. Around the 4th planet, a massive mechanical structure was growing, fed by streams of harvested matter from the world's surface. "Jesus Christ," whispered Commander Rodriguez. "What the hell is that thing?" Dr. Kim was working frantically at her station. "Captain, I'm reading massive biomechanical activity. Those aren't ships, they're organisms. Or they were. Something has converted them into something else." Santos studied the nightmare before them. The mechanical structure around the planet was easily the size of Earth's moon, and it was growing. Streams of matter flowed into it from the planet's surface, and new mechanical tendrils reached out toward the other worlds in the system. "Chen, any response to our arrival?" "Nothing yet, Captain, but I'm picking up massive energy signatures from that construction. It's consuming the planet." "Sir," Dr. Kim said, her voice tight with horror, "I'm reading the planet's biosignatures. They're disappearing in real time. Whatever that thing is, it's converting all organic matter into more of itself." Santos felt a chill run down her spine. "Are there any survivors?" "I'm detecting some life signs on the outer moons, But they're fading fast. Captain, if this is what attacked the Catharans, their entire civilization could be gone in days. Not if we have anything to say about it, Santos said grimly. Rodriguez, what are we looking at tactically? Her tactical officer studied his displays. The main structure is heavily defended. I'm reading weapons platforms, defensive fields, and what look like mobile units. But Captain, the energy readings are off the charts. This thing could probably vaporize us with a single shot. Then we don't give it the chance. Santos activated the ship's internal communications. All hands, this is the captain. We've found the source of the alien distress call. What we're facing is unlike anything in our databases. A self-replicating mechanical organism that consumes organic life to grow stronger. I know we're just one ship against something that's already consumed multiple worlds. But I'm not going to sit here and watch an entire civilization die. Anyone who wants to leave can take the shuttles and head for human space. No one will think less of you. She waited. No one moved. No one spoke. Then Dr. Kim stood up. Captain, with respect, where would we go? Those things are growing exponentially. If we don't stop them here, they'll spread to every inhabited world in the galaxy. One by one, the rest of the crew nodded. Santos felt proud of her people. They were good humans, every one of them. All right then. Chen, see if you can raise any survivors. Rodriguez, get our weapons online. Kim, I need you to figure out how to kill something that feeds on organic matter. Captain, Chen said suddenly, I'm getting a response. It's weak, but someone is still alive. The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The being had translucent skin, multifaceted eyes, and delicate features that seemed almost crystalline. Despite its alien nature, the expression of desperate hope was unmistakably universal. This is High Counselor Maraxis of the Catharans. Are you here to help us? Santos smiled. Yes, ma'am. I'm Captain Maria Santos of the Terran Exploration Service. We received your message and came as fast as we could. And tears flowed down the alien's face. Blessed ancestors, you came. You actually came. But you must be careful. The Devourers are spreading to the outer worlds. They've already consumed Zarian Prime and 3 of our colony worlds. How many of you are left? Perhaps 30,000 across all our remaining outposts. We've been hiding in the deep shelters, but the Devourers find us everywhere. They're not just machines. They learn, they adapt, they evolve. Santos felt a surge of determination. Hold on, we're coming to get you. The transmission ended just as alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Rodriguez looked up from his console with alarm. Captain, the Devourers are moving. I'm reading multiple contacts heading our way. On the main screen, Santos watched in horror as dozens of biomechanical entities detached from the growing structure. They moved with purpose, their forms shifting and adapting as they approached. Some looked like ships, others like massive insects, and still others defied description entirely. All hands, battle stations, Santos ordered. Rodriguez, give me everything we've got. Captain, Dr. Kim called out, I'm reading something strange. These Devourers, they're not just consuming organic matter. They're analyzing it, incorporating it into their design. They're learning from everything they consume. Then we make sure they don't consume us, Santos replied. All weapons, fire at will. The Indomitable's guns spoke, beams of coherent energy lancing out toward the approaching Devourers. The weapons struck home, but instead of destroying the mechanical organisms, they seemed to absorb the energy and grow stronger. Conventional weapons aren't working, Rodriguez reported. They're adapting to our attack patterns. Santos thought quickly. Kim, these things feed on organic matter and energy. What if we give them something they can't digest? What do you mean? Chen, can you overload our quantum resonance chamber? Her communications officer paled. Captain, that would create a massive temporal distortion. It could tear apart local spacetime. Or it could disrupt their molecular cohesion. Santos said grimly. Do it. As Chen worked to overload the chamber, the Devourers closed in. The ship shook as biomechanical tendrils lashed out, trying to breach the hull. Santos could hear the sound of metal being torn as the creatures attempted to break through. "Chamber ready," Chen reported. "Fire it." The quantum resonance chamber discharged, creating a wave of temporal distortion that swept across local space. The devourers caught in the wave writhed and screamed, an alien sound that chilled everyone who heard it. Their biomechanical forms began to break down, their stolen organic components separating from their mechanical parts. But the victory was short-lived. The massive structure around Zerion Prime pulsed with malevolent energy, and more devourers began to emerge. These ones different from the first wave, already adapted to resist temporal distortion. "They're learning," Dr. Kim said in horror. "They adapted to our attack in real time." Santos studied the tactical display. They had bought themselves time, but not much. The devourers would overwhelm them soon, and then they would spread to consume every world in the galaxy. "Captain," Chen said suddenly, "I'm reading something else. There are more ships coming out of hyperspace." Santos looked at the main screen and felt her heart skip. Ships were appearing throughout the system. Human ships, the destroyer Test Defiant, the cruiser Test Relentless, even the old battleship TES Unconquerable. But these weren't the only vessels arriving. "Sir," Chen continued, "I'm getting communications from the fleet. It's Admiral Martinez aboard the Unconquerable." The grizzled face of Admiral Carlos Martinez appeared on screen. He was a man who had fought in every major human conflict of the past 30 years, and his scarred face told the story of those battles. "Captain Santos, I got your message to Earth Command. Command wasn't too happy about you running off to help aliens, but they sent me to bring you back." Martinez paused, looking at the nightmare surrounding them. "But seeing this, well, orders can go to hell. We're not letting these things spread. Admiral, with respect, we're facing something that can adapt to any weapon we use. It's already consumed multiple worlds." Martinez smiled grimly. "Then we'll have to be more creative than usual. I brought along Dr. Elizabeth Warren from the Prometheus Research Station. She's got some ideas about how to fight these things." A new voice joined the conversation, a woman with sharp eyes and an intense expression. "Captain Santos, I've been analyzing the data your ship transmitted. These devourers are quantum mechanical organisms. They exist partially in normal space and partially in quantum space. That's how they can adapt so quickly. Can we use that against them? Maybe. If we can destabilize their quantum coherence, we might be able to collapse their ability to exist in normal space. But it would require a coordinated attack using quantum torpedoes and temporal disruptors." Santos looked at the growing swarm of devourers approaching the human fleet. There were hundreds of them now, each one learning from the other's encounters with human weapons. "Admiral, can we get those weapons? We brought what we could, but Santos, even if we can stop these things here, we need to make sure they don't spread to other worlds. According to our intel, there are already reports of similar attacks in 3 other systems." Santos felt the weight of the galaxy settling on her shoulders. "Then we stop them here, and we stop them everywhere else they've spread." "Agreed. All ships prepare for coordinated assault. We're going to show these mechanical bastards what happens when you threaten innocent people." The human fleet formed up, their weapons charging with exotic energies. But as they prepared to attack, the devourers began to change again. They were clustering together, forming larger and more complex structures. The individual organisms were combining into something new, something that defied description. "Admiral," Dr. Warren said urgently, "they're forming a collective consciousness. If they complete the merger, they'll be able to adapt to any attack instantaneously." "Then we hit them now," Martinez replied. "All ships, open fire." The human fleet unleashed everything they had: quantum torpedoes, temporal disruptors, antimatter missiles, and exotic particle beams struck the Devourer collective. For a moment it seemed to work. The mechanical organisms writhed and separated, their quantum coherence disrupted. But then something unexpected happened. The Devourers began to scream. It wasn't a sound that could be heard. It was a quantum resonance that struck directly at the human minds. The scream carried with it the final thoughts of every being the Devourers had consumed. Billions of voices crying out in terror and pain, the death agonies of entire civilizations. Santos gripped her command chair as the psychic assault threatened to overwhelm her. Around the bridge, her crew was struggling to maintain their sanity. But through the nightmare of alien voices, she heard something else. A voice speaking directly to her mind. "Help us! We are trapped within the Devourers. Free us!" It was High Counselor Meraxis, but not just her. Santos realized that the Devourers didn't just consume organic life. They trapped the consciousness of their victims within their quantum structure. Every being they had ever killed was still alive, still aware, still suffering. "Kim," Santos called out, fighting against the psychic assault. "The consciousness of the victims is still there. Can we extract them?" Dr. Kim was working frantically at her station, blood trickling from her nose. "Maybe, if we can reverse the quantum integration process, but it would require getting close to the collective." "Then that's what we do," Santos said. "Admiral, we need to get close enough to reverse the quantum process. Can your ships provide cover?" Martinez's voice was strained but determined. "We'll give you all the cover you need. Just tell us what you need." Santos stood up, her decision made. "We're going to ram them." "Captain," Rodriguez said, "that's suicide." "No," Santos replied. "That's what we came here to do. We came to save people. All of them." The Indomitable broke from the fleet formation and accelerated toward the Devourer collective. As the ship approached, Santos could feel the trapped consciousness of billions of beings reaching out to her. The weight of their suffering was overwhelming, but it also gave her strength. "All hands, prepare for impact," she announced. "Dr. Kim, initiate the quantum reversal on my mark." The Indomitable struck the collective like a bullet, her reinforced hull punching deep into the mechanical organism. Alarms blared as the ship's systems failed one by one, but Santos held her course. "Now, Kim!" Dr. Kim activated the quantum reversal device. The ship's remaining power flowed into the experimental equipment, creating a feedback loop that spread throughout the collective. The Devourers began to dissolve, their quantum coherence collapsing. And then, like a dam bursting, the trapped consciousness began to emerge. Santos watched in wonder as streams of pure thought flowed from the dying collective, the minds of the Kithrans, the consciousness of dozens of other species, the souls of billions of beings who had been consumed but not destroyed. They were free. The Indomitable's hull finally gave way, but by then the reversal was complete. The Devourer collective collapsed into ordinary matter. Its threat ended forever. As Santos felt the ship breaking apart around her, she heard a voice, not in her mind this time, but through the communications system. It was High Counselor Meraxis, speaking from one of the rescue ships that had arrived to collect the liberated consciousness. "Captain Santos, you have given us back our lives, our freedom, our future. How can we ever repay you?" Santos smiled as the emergency systems prepared to evacuate the crew. "Just remember us and help others when they call for help. That's what we do." 3 months later, the galaxy was a different place. The Catharans had been restored to physical form using advanced human cloning technology combined with their own quantum consciousness techniques. The dozens of other species freed from the Devourers had formed a coalition dedicated to protecting others from similar threats. And at the center of it all was humanity, not as conquerors or rulers, but as the species that had answered a call for help when no one else would. Captain Maria Santos stood on the bridge of her new ship, the TES Guardian, watching as human and alien crews worked together to patrol the galaxy. In her hand, she held a message that had arrived that morning, another distress call from a distant system. "Sir," Lieutenant Chen said, "the Andromedan Research Station is reporting unknown attackers. They're requesting immediate assistance." Santos smiled. "Set course for Andromeda, maximum speed." "Captain," her new first officer asked, "are you sure? It's a long way from human space." Santos looked at the stars, thinking of all the people out there who might need help. "That's what we do, Commander. We answer the call." As the Guardian jumped to hyperspace, a new signal went out across the galaxy. It was broadcast in 1,000 languages, but the message was always the same. Oh, this is the Terran Protective Alliance. If you need help, call us. We're coming. The stars, which had been silent for so long, were finally filled with hope. And somewhere in the darkness, the next cry for help was already waiting to be answered.